Let's see who's going to the Super Bowl. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, a podcast where you don't have to do Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. That's right, I went 4-0 last week. Perfection. I just wish I got that right about the Packers. Grossi, and today we are going to be predicting both championship games as we get set for arguably two of the most exciting games that we could have possibly gotten on this championship Sunday coming up. And as I said last week, I went a perfect 4-0, hopefully continuing that and going 2-0 this week. But without further ado, let's start off with the NFC Championship game, a game that I am very much anticipating, and that is the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, sorry, Cowboys. You ain't finding yourself in the NFC Championship, but if it's any consolation, you haven't been in like 26 years, so you're kind of used to it at this point. But Cowboys fans, I can't imagine they're too happy after seeing the reception to them losing.
So this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause.
But due to some poor play by Dak Prescott and also a very questionable last play, the 49ers able to take advantage of the Cowboys' mistakes, moving on after defeating them, in which they just remained consistent the entire game. They stuck with the ground game, even though it didn't work in the first half. And I have to imagine 49ers fans were thinking this after not getting 100 yards in the first half.
Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
But they stuck with what has worked all season, able to get some yards on the ground, and Brock Purdy played pretty well again. You had an amazing catch by George Kittle, and Purdy did enough in a very hostile situation, that hostile situation being, of course, the Cowboys pass rush. And I ranked them number one last week in power rankings because of how well they've been playing, how much of a balanced football team they were, and they had some trouble with the Cowboys. The Cowboys came in with a great game plan. Unfortunately, Tony Pollard got injured. They had to get away from that game plan because, you know, if only they had another running back that they paid $1 kajillion to actually could carry the ball and team for them, but I guess we're just never going to know. Meanwhile, the Eagles, they're thinking this after humiliating the Giants.
I don't want this stunted slime in my sight again.
The Eagles absolutely slapped the crap out of the New York Giants and punched their ticket to the NFC Championship game. They are now the team with the most NFC Championship appearances in the NFC since the year 2000. And Nick Sirianni is just on another planet right now. You have the offense, which is clicking. The defense is playing really well. And this is just two Titans, not to be confused with the Tennessee Titans, because we know that you're not here, just battling it out. And I cannot wait for this game. As I have said throughout this entire season, you need to take advantage of the 49ers secondary and need to score a lot of points like the second half of that Chiefs game when they took on the 49ers earlier this season. But that is a difficult task to do. The Eagles' offensive line, they are going to have their hands busy with an amazing pass rush of the San Francisco 49ers, and this game truly could go either way. These are two well-coached teams, two complete teams, and I just cannot wait to watch it. I am going to give the slight edge to the Philadelphia Eagles just because they have the type of offense that can take advantage of the 49ers secondary. They can put up points, and I think their offensive line is good enough to protect Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, of course, is mobile, can get out of the pocket. And considering how not so great the offensive line of the 49ers played last week, the Eagles led the league in sacks this season, and they may be able to get after Brock Purdy. So because of that, Eagles, you're flying your way to the Super Bowl. And then finally, the AFC Championship game. You got the kitty goes meow Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Bills fans, sorry, I know you were hoping to go to the AFC Championship game, but at least probably now you have your refunds.
The negotiations were short.
But the Bengals, cool as ice, went into a snowy Buffalo, took care of business, really didn't make it look like it was too difficult. They ran the ball effectively, they threw the ball when they needed to, and Joe Burrow basically played a perfect game. And on top of that, they had a drop touchdown pass. Hayden Hurst played well. Jamar Chase played well. They were firing on all cylinders, and they didn't even need to put up an explosive offense. They were just efficient. And this was all done missing 3 offensive linemen.
We lost something.
Not to worry, we are still flying half a ship.
Meanwhile, the Kansas City Chiefs, they took care of business against the Jacksonville Jaguars at home. Didn't look like they had too much trouble. The Jaguars missed a lot of opportunities, but of course, the big story coming out of that game is Patrick Mahomes having a high ankle sprain, and that's going to obviously impact him, even though he is still going to play. And we kind of knew this. He was jumping around on one leg to hand the ball off or to try to get out of the pocket. You're just not keeping Patrick Mahomes out of the AFC Championship game. But for this Sunday, the Chiefs are going to be looking for some revenge.
Everything is proceeding as I have foreseen.
Not only from last year, but also from this year as well. Joe Burrow just has a firm grasp on the rivalry between the Bengals and the Chiefs right now. And the Bengals, I don't think there's a more confident team in the playoffs.
Your overconfidence is your weakness.
Your faith in your friends is yours.
You could argue the Eagles, but I think that just the Bengals, I said this in rankings, they are just battle tested. They beat a divisional opponent, and it was a tough game, a good defense, good run game in the Ravens. I know they went up against a backup QB, but they did what they had to do there. Then they go into Buffalo, and they take care of business there when the entire world basically is against them. They have been counted out. I ranked them at number 5 back in the wild card because I just didn't know what we had in the Bengals, and now I'm very happy to say I was wrong. Going up against an injured Patrick Mahomes, who's going to be slightly less mobile, I like the Bengals' chances here. They show that they don't crack under pressure, they don't blink in the moment, and because of that, I think instead they are going to be poised and ready to punch their ticket to their second consecutive Super Bowl, defeating the Kansas City Chiefs. And this kitty will go meow. So if everything is correct, you will see the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl, which would be an amazing game. But quite honestly, any matchup between these 4 teams would be great. I think we're going to get a great Super Bowl. We're going to get a great championship Sunday. And I can't wait for it. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or TomGrossiComedy, all social media, see down below. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and the YouTube members. Before we get out of here, I just want to do a big shout out to some brand new patrons and YouTube members. First on the Patreon side, we have JT Payne, a big shout out and thank you to you. And over on the YouTube member side, joining the Grossi Posse Plus, we have Cod Nacho, we have Michael Testani, we have Ty Man the Beast 2, we have Andrew, we have JM Findorf, we have SJ Hockey, we have Bro Montana 25, Little X Zane, and X-Ray 25 AV. A big shout out and thank you to you all. But folks, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on Sunday as we stream both of these games. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.